spending time with her husband, friends, family, including her 12 grandchildren. In her spare time, she connects and celebrates with the women involved in motorsports, taking you behind the wall about their journey of life, racing, and how they juggle everything to make it all work. Welcome to Racing Girls Rock Podcast. Strap in, window nets up, the pedals are down, and when the green flag drops, we go.
Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with Racing Girls Rock Podcast. And it is my distinct honor today to introduce you to my new friend, Cindy Sisson. Cindy and I met just recently, and I'm so excited to have her today on the podcast. She's got a lot of exciting things going on, and she's going to share with us first a little bit about herself, and then we're going to learn more about how she got involved in motorsports and then about the event that's coming up. So Cindy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Melinda. It's an honor to be here with you today.
So Cindy, let's start. We're going to pretend nobody knows who you are, which I know isn't true, but let's just pretend. And I want you to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I live in Mooresville, North Carolina. I actually moved here about 30 years ago to start the first ever marketing department for a NASCAR racing team, which was Roush Racing. And that was quite an honor. But taking a step back, I'm a Southern California girl, Pepperdine, UCLA grad. My dad worked at General Motors. That's where I really think I fell in love with cars. In fact, my first car was a 64.5 Mustang, then a 68 Camaro. Then I don't remember which year a Volkswagen, but every year it seems like I got a new car. So I really got into cars. But I'll tell you a little secret, Melinda. The joke is on me, is while I have had some amazing cars, I don't know how to take care of the cars. I've always had a dad or a husband or whatever that wrenched on the cars or put the air in the tires or changed the oil. And it was so funny, about 2 months ago, I actually put the quarter in the machine and blew up my air in my tires, and I was screaming, "Free at last, free at last," because I finally figured out how to do something on my own since I'm not so much married anymore. But my career has been very, very blessed, leading up to where I am today as the founder and CEO of GS Events. I had the blessing of working at the '84 Olympics. From there, I went on to be the director of marketing and promotions for the Ladies Professional Golf Association. After that, I was the head of sports marketing for Gatorade. So when you see all those coolers on all the sidelines of the pro teams, that was me. But I fell in love with a silly little sport called NASCAR and really, really got excited about being a brand ambassador for Gatorade in the NASCAR community. And that's really where my love of racing came about. After I left Gatorade, I ended up starting my own agency actually, and moving back from Chicago to Florida. And my claim to fame during that tenure was I also created the Kyle Petty charity ride across America, which still exists today. I think it's on its 26th or 27th year. And it was real funny. Kyle Petty called me into his holler at Talladega, and he said, "Hey, Cindy, I know you do events. Can you help me out with this charity ride?" I'm like, "Sure, like next year?" And he goes, "No, in 6 weeks." Okay, so had to quickly come up with the logo, find the sponsors, map out all the potties from San Francisco to Charlotte. And Melinda, I was crazy enough a week before the ride to decide I'm going to go on the ride myself. Never rode a Harley in my life. Bought one, shipped it to San Francisco, and was one of 2 women to make it full ride, non-bitch, on my own bike across the country. And next to having my son, Tafton, it's the greatest thing I've ever done in my life.
That's amazing. I can't even imagine. Now, I have my motorcycle license, and I got it at the age of 50. So my second husband has ridden bikes forever, and he always said the fun is not on the back. And so I had my own bike until 2017. After I had back surgery, I really couldn't do it anymore. And so I ride somewhat on his bike, a little bit to dinner and that, but I have a hard time riding like I love to do. But That's an amazing trip. I can't even imagine doing that.
Yeah, I have some great memories and photos, and they had their anniversary 25th, I think it was in 2019 or 20, but I unearthed all these amazing photos, and I still can't believe I did that crazy thing. But moving on down the road, I ended up getting married, decided to have a son. I prayed for a son my whole life. I had him at 41. And so I gave up Harleys and got into horses, and I started showing horses, paint horses. And just like a car, I couldn't ride the horse, I just showed the horse. So that was kind of a neat experience. But between all this, I also became the owner of the US Postal Service cycling team. So if you've heard of Lance Armstrong, the first 4 years she won the Tour de France, I was the managing director of the team, in addition to running my motorsports agency here in Mooresville, North Carolina. And at that time, my claim to fame was bringing in Nestle Nesquik, which eventually won the championship. And that was a great ride, handling Lance Armstrong and the Nestle Nesquik racing program. So moving along, I have done a bunch of crazy things, but in the last 7-8 years, companies mostly hire me because I'm called a super connector. And what I love to do is share the story of my bathroom wall. I have over 4,000 business cards, and everybody above the toilet I just absolutely adore, and those below the toilet, not so much. So moving along, I had lovely clients doing my super connector work, and then the silly thing called COVID hits. And I ended up spending almost the entire year in Los Angeles. My mom got very, very ill. She ended up passing, and it was a tough year last year. But in September, I launched GS Events, September 28th, actually, and it's just been a ride ever since. And what's so exciting about it is that in October, we started our first virtuals. We're up to lap 9 or 10 now with amazing women. A lot of them, Lynn St. James, Allison Witherspoon, Beth Peretta, Pam Miller, Shay Holger, just some amazing ladies. And then it morphed into us adding a podcast with Amanda Busick. So now we have Shifting Gears with Amanda Busick, a weekly podcast. We're about to end our first season. Last week we had Sandra Button on, which was a real treat for us, the head of the Pebble Beach Concours. Week before that, Renee Bickerhoff, amazing 356 driver, 64 years old, driving around the world for human trafficking, and just have been blessed to meet so many women and to inspire so many women through these amazing stories. And this kind of leads us up to the Passion Play Now. Back in October, I was approached by Matt Cruz. Matt is the CEO of the Music City Grand Prix. Their inaugural event is this year. And he said, Cindy, I want to honor women and I want to do it big. What do you got for me? I said, well, let's see. We're still in COVID, but I have these virtuals at work. So starting in April, we created a virtual marrying an automotive person with a country music singer. And we've had Danielle Bradbury, the youngest woman ever on The Voice, with the CMO of Nissan, Allison Witherspoon. Then we had Liz Allison, the wife of Davey Allison, who NASCAR fans know exactly who Davey is, along with Denise Jackson, which is Alan Jackson's wife.
Yeah.
And it was a fireside chat room, them drinking their bubbles and getting more brave as the bubbles were ingested. And that was a lot of fun. And then this month we had Lynn St. James and Amy Oates, wife of John Oates, who shared they're both mutual love of Amelia Island. Lynn being honored this year at Amelia, and then Amy and John, what they've done for the charity. And then our last one coming up is going to be July 27th with a TBD, but it is going to be a big surprise, I promise you.
Okay.
And that'll be about the week before our Women with Drive Summit, which is August 5th and 6th, starting with a reception on the 5th. And I'm so glad you're coming, and a summit on the 6th. And we have amazing, amazing speakers. It's being co-hosted by myself and Lynn St. James. Amanda's our mistress of ceremonies.
Mhm.
And we have people like Beth Peretta and Sarah Fisher, Sabra Cook, the only woman racing, American woman in the W Series.
Right.
Jimmy McMillan, head of diversity for IndyCar, Force Indy, Miles Rowe, and Rod Reed. The list just keeps going on and on, and we're just getting a great response. Some great racers are coming. In fact, one thing I'm very excited about, and we haven't announced this, so I'm going to share it with your audience, is the Great Race, which just finished a week ago. You know, the Great Race has been around for many, many years.
Yeah.
And the cars are 1974 or earlier. And this year, two sisters won. First time women ever won. And it was 20-year-old Olivia Gentry and her sister, Jenna Gentry. And Hemmings is sponsoring them to come to the summit.
Nice.
And we're going to be introducing these two amazing young ladies who won at our luncheon. And then we also announced for next year, the first ever all women's X Cup team, which will be girls from colleges or women from colleges, students, but it'll be, the whole team will just be women. And so you could go to greatrace.com and pull up the X Cup to see more about that.
Okay.
But we're looking for some pioneering women to be a part of a 2-week experience across the country.
How do you sleep at night is my first question, because you've got so many exciting things going on that I know there's nights when I lay down after I've talked to someone or I've had a contact with somebody new. I'm so excited. I have a hard time sleeping. How do you relax and just take all this in? Because Cindy, you've just got so many fun and exciting things happening, especially promoting women. I don't know how you're doing it.
Well, it's a secret. I like my Tito's.
Okay.
With sparkling ice, black cherry. And then I'm addicted to Yellowstone.
Oh, I am too. Absolutely love it. Yeah, we don't miss it.
Yeah, I try to find a good series, and that's when I'm ready to lay down. That is, I watch maybe 1 or 2 episodes a night. I read a lot too, but Yellowstone and Ozark and all these crazy shows, it takes my mind off of my day to day. But I usually wake up about 3 or 4, and that's when my brain starts going, and then I'm up by 5. And I'm checking emails. I read my Bible quotes every morning. I do read my horoscope too, but don't, it's not that thing.
No, it's not.
It's
Sometimes
kind of,
it just gives you that little bit of push that you need. When you read that, it says contacting an old friend, and then it's like, oh, I've been meaning to call so-and-so.
Well, it's amazing how the universe just speaks to me. And through my love of Jesus, and then through my little horoscopes. I've been doing it for 20 years. And, there's a saying, the trend is your friend. And I can see if I'm going to have a bad day, I know when to keep my mouth shut. Or kind of go into a little hole and not reach out to folks because it says it's not going to be a good day today. So
yeah. Oh my gosh. So tell us a little bit more about the event coming up in August, because I know, right now that's the thing that you're probably focused on somewhat. I know you have other things going on, but let's let the ladies know about that, because yes, I'm coming. I'm so excited about it, because as we spoke before we recorded, I've always had in the back of my mind that we need to have an event for women in motorsports around some kind of a racing event. And this is what you're doing. And so I wouldn't miss it. And plus, I've not ever been to a road course race.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm so excited about that as well. And the people that I'm going to meet. So tell us a little bit about that. How do they get registered? What's the agenda a little bit, so they know what they're coming for?
Yeah, here, I wanted to pull it up real quick while we're talking, but I also wanted to add one other exciting bit of information. The following week, if anybody's going to be at Pebble Beach at the Concours, I've been asked to put together the first ever women's forum. It will be Friday at 3:30. They'll be announcing that sometime, I believe, this week. We have Lynn St. James and I, again, co-producing, co-hosting. We have Merle Mullen, Jackie Connor, Renee Brickerhoff, and Lisa Taylor, 4 amazing women who do amazing things in car culture. So I wanted to do a little shout out to that. Again,
Absolutely.
a little surprise for your listeners here because we have not made that public announcement. But as far as the Women with Drive Summit, you can register by going to my website, gsevents.live. Right at the top, there's a red banner. You click on that and you can see the agenda and where the events are. So it starts Thursday night from 5 to 7 at AJ's. It's a honky tonk bar. And AJ's is actually Alan Jackson's. No coincidence there. But we're in the room where we can do some karaoke and have a lot of fun that night. The cost for that is $100. The next day we start the summit, starts at 10. It's the panels, again, I could go through in depth on that, but it's probably easier just to look up on the website. But we really have 3 different tracks. The first one is starting with Dr. Kimberly Clay, who's our charity with Play Like a Girl. And she starts out with gals in middle school who like to be physically active and want to learn about STEM. So we're taking them right at middle school and going right up the food chain to hopefully be an IndyCar driver.
Right.
One panelist that I just particularly am in awe of is Jessica Fickinger. And Jessica is the CXO of Speedway Motorsports, Inc. But she also oversees the US Legends cars. And Melinda, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's a tour series called the NX series.
I have heard of that, but I don't really know anything about it.
Take a guess what NX stands for?
I don't have a clue.
Inexpensive.
Oh, I love it.
Isn't that fantastic?
That's a great name.
So the Legends are where they're built is here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Supposedly it's the largest motorsports automotive manufacturing facility in the world. They're currently serving, I think it's 36 or 37 countries. But if somebody wants to start out driving, the Legends cars are a great car to get your feet wet, to get started, and it is inexpensive. So Jessica will be on our panel as well. So that's kind of the start of your career. The second is on diversity and inclusion. We actually have Beth Peretta on that panel with us. And as I said earlier, Jimmy and the team. And then the last one is Women Who Drive Motorsports. We have some of the top women who are managing sponsorships or engineering. Kara Adams from Firestone. So our panel, Women Who Drive Motorsports, we have a fantastic lineup, including Kara Adams, Director of Race Tire Engineering and Production, Chief Engineer for Firestone, Margot Cook, Vice President, Brand Creative for NTT Data, the series sponsor for IndyCar. Heidi Massey Bong, she's been around in the motorsports for as long as I have. I'm not calling her old or anything, she's just absolutely amazing. She's with Shell. And then Bree Sandlin, who's also in charge of lubricants, VP of North America for Shell. That will be our women driving motorsports panel. And we've just been so blessed in the last couple of weeks to have some great sponsors come on board, including Hemmings, Cutting Edge Signs and Lighting, Circle 445 Logistics, Lowe's, Delta Dental, and some others soon to be coming on board as well. So what I'm seeing is that the audience is listening and they're embracing us.
Yeah.
And I hope that we can take this Women with Drive, Melinda, to other tracks and to other events, because we can't, not everybody can be in Nashville, so to speak, but if we can go to Bristol or Chicago or other racetracks, that would be pretty darn cool to be taking this movement that we're creating, Melinda, you and I both, for advocating women in motorsports and automotive. One of the things that I'm telling people, you don't have to be in motorsports. You don't have to be in automotive. You just have to be inspired by these amazing ladies and men that are on the panel.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so many times I get people ask me about drivers. It's not just about the drivers. Yes, the drivers get a lot of attention, and we love the drivers, don't get me wrong, but there are so many other women behind the scenes, if you will, that you may not have ever heard of, but they have such important roles to get that woman out there on the track, or to get the sponsorships, or to take the photos, or do the media, whatever it might be. Engineers, my good friend Liz is a tire specialist for a NASCAR team. It takes all of them. And I love those stories, because the driving stories are great, but the stories about how some of those women got involved in motorsports, and you don't even have to, I've not driven a car. I'm not an engineer, but I love cars. I love motorsports. And so, you don't have to be somebody, if you know what I mean. You can just love it and come to this event, and you're going to learn so much. And the people that you're going to be able to connect with is going to be amazing. And I just think it's a wonderful opportunity. I'm so excited to come.
Well, thank you, Melinda. I'm so glad you're coming as well, but you hit the nail on the head. Motorsports, it's just not being a driver. There's so many job opportunities, and it's all about networking. It's my new saying is see and be seen. Because if you're not seen, then you're not going to ever have the opportunity. And there are going to be some great connections with some amazing men and women at the summit. I don't think it's ever been done before, to be honest with you. So
I don't think it has, because, as we spoke before, I had a similar kind of idea about holding an event for women, that love motorsports, and I haven't seen that it's been done. And so the fact that I can jump on your coattails and ride along with you on this has really got me excited for the future of what could be and what we could do together down the road. And so I'm just so excited to help you promote this and get all these women there, because it's going to be a lot of fun too, right?
Well, I know you got a new skirt, and you're going to wear your cowgirl pants.
Cowboy boots.
You're going to wear your cowgirl boots. So it's all about the spirit of being there. So we're going to have so much fun, Melinda. And I really hope some of you reach out and sign up. I'm also providing some scholarships. So if you're a student and you're, attending not a university, if you're attending a school in and around that market, reach out to me at Cindy@gsevents.live. I'm all about the next generation. So if I can help you financially by attending, I can't pay for travel in the hotel. We also, I forgot to add, have a block of tickets for the weekend for Friday and Saturday. It's actually a 3-day pass. It was the cheapest way to do it for $217. So if you're interested in the tickets, also email me at Cindy@gsevents.live, and you'll buy the tickets directly through me, so I can save money as far as taxes and registration and blah, blah, blah. So Melinda, I know I've got you down for one.
You do. And then we're good to sit together, right? So
everybody's going to.
Yeah. That's the fun part, because I got online and looked at tickets, which, by the way, there aren't very many left. When I was looking the other night, a seat here and there, and I was like, well, that's okay, I could buy that seat, but then I'm not going to know anybody around me. So this is even better. I'm going to meet and hang out with these people for a couple of days, and then I get to go to the race and watch the race with them, which is just a bonus. So that's gonna be so fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And I do have a hotel room, by the way, ladies, and I would be willing to share and split the cost if somebody's interested. I'm a little picky though, so it's not just, but if somebody's looking to come and help reduce the cost a little bit, it's race weekend, so we know how that goes, and would love to help somebody come by splitting the costs, I could do that. So it's going to be here before we know it, Cindy.
I know, it's like 3 weeks. I'm actually driving out there Wednesday to go do site checks and make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And then I'm going to go to the SRX race.
Oh, yes.
Really
so
exciting.
Fun. So fun. They were just at Slinger, and we so wanted to go last weekend, but we had other things going on and we couldn't get there. But what fun those races are too. I'm enjoying those. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, our dear friend Pam Miller, as you know, produces them.
Yes.
And she's just a rock star. So I want to go and support her on Friday. There's a big surprise that they're filming that will be broadcast Saturday night. So make sure you tune in. It's hilarious.
Okay.
All I'm telling you, it's going to be hilarious.
I don't miss them. And if I have to be gone, I record them. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cindy, is there anything else that you'd like to share about what you're doing or anything else down the road? Or shall we schedule another podcast after the event, which we should do? Then we could tell about what they missed if they don't come, because they're going to be sorry if they don't show up, right?
Absolutely. I would love to schedule another podcast with you, Melinda. This has been a joy. But I also encourage folks to go to my website and listen to our podcast. We're different kind of podcasts. We're about to end our first season. The last speaker will be Liz Allison, leading up to the Music City Grand Prix. We've got 2 more weeks of amazing, amazing ladies. Lindsay Harrell with the Hilton Head Concours d'Elegance. And by the way, Lindsay and I just finalized a deal. I'm going to be doing some Ferrari test drives at the Hilton Head Concours for the women who sign up for Women Driving America. And we're also going to be doing a women's judging class called Women Driving America, presented by Shifting Gears. So stay tuned. That announcement's coming out.
Okay.
And just, send me an email, Cindy@gsevents.live. I'll put you on our database. And it seems like every day something new is happening. And the only way I can keep up with it is by doing a quarterly newsletter that shares all the information. But we'd love all you on listeners to join us and be a part of this movement of just wonderfulness. That's all I can say.
Yeah, absolutely. Amanda's great. I interviewed her some time ago, and she's great. And that podcast is amazing. So I encourage everybody to get on and listen. And you know what? Go back and listen to the other, don't just listen to the newest one. Go back and listen, because you can learn a lot, and they're all good, and they're really not timely. They're things that you can enjoy listening to, even if it was your first one last year. So I encourage women to go back and do that, or men too. We're not just about the women.
Yes.
We love the men too, don't we? We love the men too. We couldn't do this without them, but we do try to promote the women and give them a little bit of encouragement. And I like connecting them, because so many times I'll meet someone and they'll be like, oh, I have this issue or that issue, or I need to do this. And I'll be like, oh, you should talk to so-and-so. And then I love to be able to connect them. And that's part of what we do too. So
absolutely. It's, to me, we get that question all the time. Is it only for women? Well, the virtuals we purposely did for women only, because we're averaging 100, 150. And after our speaker speaks for about 20, 25 minutes, we break out into chat rooms and we network. And we network so people can either find jobs or connect with somebody they've been wanting to connect with. But as far as the podcast, the Women with Drive Summit, we're not the Me Too movement. We're not about male bashing. We're about being in the seat together. But this time, the women are in the left seat and the men are in the right seat.
I love that. I love that.
Just saying.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. A great way to put it. So awesome. Well, Cindy, this has really been a pleasure to talk to you, and I can't wait to meet you in person. I feel like I've known you forever, and give you a big hug, because I just feel like we've really connected and we've made friends already, and we haven't even met. But that's what it's about, isn't it? We just make such wonderful friends in this industry, and that's part of what I love the most about it. So I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll have a lot of women networking and having a great time, and I'll see you in Nashville.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Melinda. You have a blessed day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Racing Girls Rock Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at International Women's Motorsports Association or on Instagram and Twitter at the IWMA Nation. And if you know someone that should be on our show, drop us an email at iwmanation@gmail.com.